Informative, educational, objective, inclusive, comprehensive. This is Progress Report. Updates and conversations from the Government Information Service.
Good day and welcome to another episode of Progress Report. My name is Ivan Khanna, my lovely co-host Gleneva Hodge, and we have with us the man of the hour. What should we call you? What do they know you as? Delano Chippy.
Chippy.
He said Chippy. Before we go into anything sports related, can you tell us where that nickname came from?
So there's this guy in Blowing Point that shoots fish he used to shoot fish for a living, and he was known for going to the beach in his brief. And when I was younger, about 8, 9 years old, I went to a picnic, and I didn't really I wasn't supposed to go to in the sea, but I figured if I go in my brief, and I put my vest clothes on, then nobody would know. So I went in my brief, and in the water all day, came out. I think it was Rossi from Blowing Point. He was like, "Bah, he look like Chippy, eh?" And in Blowing Point, if you get a nickname and you don't like it, it sticks. I was pissed. I was vexed. I was like, anything. And then, they wouldn't stop. And then the name just grew on me, and that was it from there. So
it has nothing to do with your cricket skills?
No. But then people started tie-dyeing with chipping down the wicket.
That's why.
I was like, hey, if that's what you feel, then that's fine.
So in other words, you were just a superhero in your brief.
Yeah, that's why it was.
That's why it was. There's always a story. There's tons of stories where sports is concerned in Anguilla. And we're going to touch on some of those things today. Where should we start, Gleneva?
I'll let you guys start today. I mean, this is your domain.
This is my domain.
I am going to sit back. I am going to learn. And I'll pitch in when, anywhere.
All right. So, the role as director of sports. You and I had a conversation. I don't think Anguilla was privy to this conversation. And in one of the things about the conversation, we spoke about your love, your passion, what you've put in to equip yourself educationally and on the social side, and even being an athlete would be rewarded. We had that conversation by the barber. We were
Barbershop talk.
Barbershop talk.
See, this is y'all already leaving me out.
Barbershop talk. And then, in a matter of weeks or months, maybe close to months.
About a month. 6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. Bam, there it is.
Yep.
Now, for me, this wasn't something that I just saw that it couldn't be denied. I didn't see it happening or prolonging. Not to say that who was in the post was not fit to be there, wasn't doing a good job, but we have developed homegrown talent and expertise, and I couldn't see it not happening. So how has it been for you in the role? And then what's your immediate vision and outlook and passions and where we're going with sports is concerned?
Well, for me, after I came back from university and I started working in the department, I always envisioned myself one day being the leader. Sports is something that I knew all my life, from cricket, football, basketball, what have you. And I always wanted to be involved, whether it's community-wise, whatever the situation is. When I started, Wilma Proctor was the director at the time. She left, and Rollins assumed the acting role. He was there for a couple of years. So, and then after Rollins, Mr. Andre Collins, he came in too. All three had different things about them that I thought was very good. And so I tried to emulate from each of them what I would like to do going forward. Because I could take a bit of Rollins' personality, a bit of Andre's work ethic, Wilma, and try to put it into one dish, mix it up, you know. If you want to call it that. And for me, it worked pretty good. I gained some experience from everybody. I also have a lot of conversation outside the work space. People give me ideas, and nothing I do per se is new. A lot of the things I would probably try to tweak here and there, but I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. But my passion for sports has always been there. Nobody can deny that. Right. and the love that I have being an athlete, knowing growing up what I wanted as an athlete, that probably weren't there. Now as an administrator, I will try to meet the needs of the athletes as far as I can meet.
Three things you wanted as an athlete that wasn't there.
One, better facilities.
Nice.
I mean that has been the talk for the past 15, 20 years. When you look at the athletes that we've been producing over the last couple of years, based on what we have in facility-wise and how much support we can support our athletes, but we still manage to produce world-class athletes.
Right.
So just imagine from grassroots stage, maybe if we have more facilities, better coaching, more equipped stuff, then what can really happen for us? When it comes to facilities, though, we don't want to just sit down and say we don't have the facilities, so we're not gonna perform. Right. We want to show the people that with this is what we're doing, and we're hoping that going down the line we get more support, whether it's locally or whether it's from the UK or whoever.
Okay. So we've produced a number of athletes that would have competed for the United Kingdom and the Union Jack, as opposed to the angular flag. But in the same token, we have a lot of people now, a lot of athletes traveling and competing under the angular flag. See the guys just left for volleyball. We've done basketball tournaments. We've done Carifta Games, Commonwealth Games.
We just had the Caribbean. Was it the Caribbean Games?
Caribbean Games.
The first, was that the first ever Caribbean Games?
No, it's not the first.
Was that the first time we competed?
No, but it's the first time we have had a swimmer.
That's cool.
And that guy who's swimming, Mitch Lake's son, he's very talented. He definitely have something in him.
So we probably got Michael Phelps somewhere here.
Maybe.
You know how, wait, stop. Put up, this does always happen. With all the water we have around here, Sandy Ground, the Cove, Island Harbour, West End, Rendezvous, Meads Bay, how come we don't have much more children involved in athletics, swimming? Like, listen, he got this young fella, I forget his dad's name, he used to drive no fear. This boy, like, he could swim. No, he could swim. Like, he's fast. Like, he's really, really, really fast.
Yeah, so right now, what we had before, we just had kids swimming. But right now, we have coaches that actually teach them proper techniques. And because you can swim fast, but when you got to do backstroke, breaststroke, that kind of things, it's technical and stuff.
Right.
So it ain't just about jumping in the water, boom, 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 and try to swim fast. So we now have coaches that's delivering programs to kids from a young age. Everett Claxton, what's his name from the family? Richard Stevens.
Yes.
You see a lot of stuff about him on Facebook right now, trying to push and get kids involved and get people to support what he's doing. So hopefully in the future we have more than one swimmer.
So you foresee us at some point having an Olympic swimmer from Angola?
It's not impossible.
But I like where you've gone with that, because in order to have an Olympic swimmer, we must have an Olympic team.
Right.
And so so my question, and this
we can have an Olympic swimmer from Angola, but not representing Angola. I guess that's what's in that.
Yes, so I want to know, what would it take for Anguilla to have its own Olympic team? You know, we have had Olympians, we've had Anguillian Olympians, all participating under the United Kingdom flag. We've had Zarnell Hughes, we've had Shara Proctor. What would it take for Anguilla to have its own Olympic team?
A few years back, there was a small window for, not a few years back, a long time before my time, there was a small window where islands were able to join the Olympic as an Olympic country, but there was a requirement that you had to have a certain amount of registered sports, and at the time we didn't, and that was an opportunity there for us to actually be a part of the Olympic makeup. But since then, the opportunity hasn't presented itself. So that's something that we could probably look at again. But in terms of our athletes and support right now, the easiest path is to represent the Great Britain in terms of sponsorships, scholarships, and all that sort of stuff. Because we just can't sustain the athletes at the moment.
At the moment. I love the fact that you said that, at the moment. Do you foresee us getting to, and I'm not comparing us to our neighbors and our other OTs, I think Tatola BVI has shot put. They're their own Olympic. They have like, what sports do you want to see happening here in Angola outside of the track and field, the basketball, the cycling, the basketball, the volleyball, the soccer, football? We don't play soccer. Right? Like, what sports do you see we have a potential to develop?
You know, nobody in the Caribbean plays American football, right? People do it like flag football for fun. Mm-hmm. But when I went to university, he had coaches asking why the Caribbean don't think about starting American football, because our natural makeup and body composition and stuff, it speaks to football. Yeah. American football, that is.
Baseball too.
Baseball as well. So we pay attention to the swimming and the basketball, football, but I think there's a niche in that area that I would like to see us explore.
I think there's a great niche in baseball. Here's why. I step into the barber with my son. Your barbershop talking again. And after the barber cut...
You guys are leaving me out of this conversation today.
You come into your eyebrows.
You come in... No. You know how I feel about... He laughing. Like, sidebar. Like, every woman that I meet in the barbershop, I just look at them and ask them, so why are you here?
Eyebrows.
Eyebrows. I was like, so you really don't think that you are encroaching on a man's... Like, a barbershop is sacred space. I don't know if you know.
We gonna take that, then you put aside, and then we can just leave it and we can go back.
Okay,
good.
Okay, back to the snake plan. So, after the barber cut my son here now, my son, he hasn't had his growth spurt yet, but he's been consistent. Believe it or not, EJ is going to be 14 in November, and EJ is 5'9", 5'10". So Baba was telling me if EJ wasn't Santo Domingo, the government would have paid me to protect him.
They would have done put a baseball bat in the hand.
Yeah, see if he could pitch and them type of things. Now I know Nice has her baseball thing.
And she's been really pushing.
She's been really pushing, and they're about to travel possibly to the Babe Ruth Classic.
What happened is she actually left, but we end up in a situation where she's the honest person from here that gone. She's attending a regional meeting for baseball, so she'll come back and I guess we get a brief on how that went. But the team that was actually supposed to go, well, they had already arranged uniforms and all that sort of stuff. Right. But it was a situation where when it comes to funding, they were getting the funding from one of the hotels on the island, but something fell through and that didn't happen or whatever the case. And then given the budget that we have right now, it was a little tight to send the team from our end. Okay. But it's an opportunity that's open to us whenever they have that tournament again. Yes. So we'll keep our eyes out for that.
Because we have a lot of Spanish-speaking children here that play baseball and really good.
And play really good.
Yeah. Really good.
Because baseball is second nature in the Dom Rep. If you look at even baseball in the major leagues in the U.S., it is made up of majority persons coming out of the Dom Rep, and I know that for them is
a way out.
And what I like about that is that we can see where sports can be a way out. And a lot of times, I think it's changing in the perception of sports.
We need it to change
as a viable career path. Over the years, we've seen the attitude towards that change, because a lot of times it was like, well, that's not going to take you anywhere. Yeah. You need to stick with something more traditional.
Yeah, if but there are persons, doctor, you're the black sheep.
But there are persons in countries that recognize that sports can elevate you. I wanted to go back just a little bit to the conversation about American football and. As a region and Caribbean people, our hesitancy towards that particular sport. And I wonder if, and I'm thinking right now as a parent, American football is really associated with a lot of concussions and injuries, long-term brain damage. And Caribbean people, you ain't gonna mash up your head. And I know you're about to tell me that the payoff is worth it.
No, I can tell you that. My problem with American football, nobody hitting me that hard and fight don't start. I don't care what I wear. I don't listen. Watch
and that's another Caribbean thing.
Yeah, you ain't hitting me that hard. You are not hitting me that hard and fight don't start. I better have playing hockey.
Right.
But that's
it's a debatable topic when it comes to injuries, because I feel personally like you can get injured doing anything.
True.
You can walk outside, you see how low that area is. I have a story about a bus head I ready for the week. And that's not playing sports. Right?
That's for the bloopers.
Exactly. So for me, it's just about knowledge and understanding of the sport to introduce it. Who want to play it would play it. But when I went to university and I saw how the kids are playing, and I used to play flag football, and the coach came up to me, he was like, "Yo, I think you should play American football." So I was like, imagine me calling home, telling my mother I made the American football team. She ain't gonna have that, right? but playing it, the rush that you get from it and the excitement and thing, it was crazy. And then when you look at the people who plays American football, they don't play for a long period, but during that short period, they make a pretty good living for themselves.
It's very lucrative.
And right now in Angola, like as Glenn said, the ideology, the whole mindset of parents starting to shift a little bit, but we needed to shift more because we find that parents are caught up with, my son get 15 subjects and 20 subjects, and that's what makes them happy. And most of the time, those kids with the 15 subjects are not even outside playing sports.
Yeah.
But a lot of the times, you could have 15 subjects, apply to university, and I always ask you what you did for your extracurricular activities.
Every last one. But
happen.
Here's the thing. You think you're going to run down the road where the Honorable Minister Diane Kentish Rogers came and alluded to, and we'll come back and talk about just how we revamp education today? You're like, that ain't happening now.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying that if we get into that, we ain't gonna have an hour-long show, because we have some strong positions on education and where we need to be going, and you touched right on laser point on the head right there. Like, for too long, we've made it about the CXC subjects, and that's it. And then what else? Like, I know excellent athletes. I know children who are exceptional with their hands, super creative. The most, like, you don't see, and I'm not being, I'm not picking on any race or anything, but you would see some Chinese kids like playing amazing piano and doing all kind of things. We have children that has this in them as well, but we put a pencil or a pen in their hand and give them an exercise book, and we literally just put them along that train, and there's nothing. I only talk about my children because that's what I know. Everybody I know my children know my son. All my son want to do is sing.
But for me, it's all about balance.
That's it. That's it right there. So it's not just singing for me. He's in music and he does well in school. He's focused on that. But I can't say that he would not take up a career singing. He said he want to try the baseball. I think he hate basketball. He gonna try everything that he want to try, as long as it's within reason, because you don't know where your children want to go or what they want to.
But stick up in all the people that you know that have degrees, and I'm not bashing degrees because I have one, obviously, but athletes, when it comes to finance and when it comes to being quote unquote rich or make money, straight athletes. Nobody that went to university and got this amount of doctorates making more money than
managing money.
Sports is the biggest sports is the biggest industry when it comes to making money in the world.
But outside of that, how many people went off to school, got their degree, and actually work in their discipline?
This is what I'm saying.
So, fun fact, don't tell nobody, right? I got a degree in finance.
Okay, then. So this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, mine is in tourism management.
Yours in tourism management.
It's about
So 1 in 3 pursue their discipline.
But I think it's also important that we recognize, and I think I like where you were going with that, Delano, is balance. And balance is important because we are not here saying you give up one for the other. On either side of the argument, it is important that I wanted to ask a little bit more in terms of, and you spoke a little bit about grassroots movement and grassroots sports. A lot of times children don't have the opportunity to enter into sports when there is a financial barrier into extracurricular activities. And Ivan, we've spoken about this. I haven't used my Tom in a little while.
Dollars in, dollar in.
Right. We know where we are at. And right now, our dollars aren't dollaring. And so it's becoming even more difficult for parents to stretch that dollar. But we want to get our kids involved in sports. what do we have in terms of grassroots free sporting programs that children can get involved in?
Most of our programs that we have right now, grassroots stage, are free.
Good. Tell me a bit about
The most we do sometimes, the highest you would end up paying as a parent for any activity that we have is, I think, is $70 EC, and that comes with 2 weeks of all sports, and that's what's happening next week. Actually, we have a summer camp where we have basketball, volleyball, netball, all sports intertwined with each other, and it's 70 EC.
So hold on. Parents, this is not a daycare, but you could get your children to run around the sun and tire out themselves for 2 weeks for $70. Low introductory rate of $70.
Yeah. Free advertising.
Free advertising. But tell us something about this.
Right. So this is a sports summer camp.
This is a sports summer camp. Kids ages 8 to 15.
Okay.
We're gonna host it at the auditorium, so the kids won't be out in the sun.
Perfect. Parents, the kids won't be out in the sun.
But they'll be tired.
Guaranteed. And I know that's what parents want to hear. That they'll be tired,
yes.
so when they get home, they crash. We have refreshments and everything for the camp. Coach Ian Tucker, everybody know Tucker. Yeah. He's the lead person for that camp, and it's gonna be a good 2-week camp. It's gonna be a good 2 weeks camp.
Any concerns about COVID? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
We can't just keep living thinking about COVID.
Thank you for saying that.
Kids gotta get out and play.
Of course.
Kids need to play.
They need to play, and if they're playing more and if they're getting active and their immune system build up, then.
And that's the thing, and that's why we've been trying to make a big push on when it comes to activities, because every year we spend more and more money on non-communicable diseases and diabetes and blood pressure and these things. And I just feel like it's a lack of movement. And instead of spending all that money having to send people out, however, we need to spend more money on sporting activities. Whereas if we do this, then this won't happen.
Right.
But I feel like we do this and we ignore this, and then we have a big problem on hand. So I just think we need to increase our movement, get people active, get in the communities, and that's what we really been setting up to do for this.
Okay, I know the same for your coming here, Gleneva, but
I just want to back up a little bit because we didn't get to how can parents sign their children up for this camp?
At the department, we have forms at the department. It's not too late. And even if the camp is starting on Monday, even if you come on Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll still take you.
Great. All right. So
parents, bring your children out. The camp starts on Monday, but if you bring them on Tuesday, that's acceptable. You can get the forms at the department. The forms online anywhere?
They're not, but
so
if I could...
that's 2 minutes to get IT to just train them and post the line.
It's not a problem.
Perfect. So let me get back to what I want to talk about now. You went into this communicable diseases stuff, and you talk about us being active and those type of things. In your sporting programs, any part of it is devoted to nutrition?
Well, the Move Your Body campaign that we was running last year, like we had areas that we had all different people involved. We had a health team, we had sports team, we had different teams that it was a holistic approach, because you can move as much as you want. If a diet is not good, then we still got a problem.
Right.
So we need to work on all.
So you're gonna advocate for Gleneva and I to have the pizza stop selling outside the schools and the sugary drinks, because that's all I see.
If I'm gonna advocate,
yeah.
You guys advocate, I'll be behind you. But I'm a firm believer of outside of the school, we should push more for healthier.
That's all I'm saying.
But you know, and this has been something that I have been very vocal about for years and years and years. And you know this from my time as
Rashawn, just grab it.
And the PTA. And I know it's not a popular thought with vendors outside of the school, but at some point we have to make a conscious decision to put the health of our children first.
Yes.
And so I have been a huge proponent of having in-school feeding programs where our children can have at least one healthy, nutritious meal in the day.
One.
At least one. And so that is something that I have felt strongly about for quite some time. I know a number, and Delano, I'm sorry, because I know we're speaking about sports, and we're going to have the minister back on this show.
Pretty soon. I think there's actually an announcement where that is concerned.
Oh, okay. See, there are things that are happening.
Things that are happening.
But with the new builds and the new schools that are there, it would be unfortunate if those spaces weren't created. But now that, you see, this is how we like to segue. New build, new schools, sporting facilities at some of these schools. What is there? What are we working on?
Sporting facilities?
Yeah, at the schools.
Oh, man.
I saw some pictures with, I think it was Morris Vanterpool. They have a basketball court, tennis courts. Is that right?
That has been there even before the school was built.
Okay.
My gripe about this now, where now you send me down a road now. Okay.
No.
Yeah, these are open and honest conversations that we have.
So, the new schools that were built, the auditorium. Before these schools were built, we had conversations about the size of the auditoriums and why not make it 4 feet wider, 4 feet longer. That would be the right size to have a full indoor basketball court, volleyball, whatever. Because I feel like if you're building something new, at this day and age, our kids should not have to go outside to play basketball or volleyball in the hot sun. We should be able to have a gym. Each school should have a gym that if you have a basketball tournament, you can have home and away games. Teams from the valley can come and play in a gym, indoor facility. You understand? Because we don't have no indoor facilities on the island as we speak. Some Martin have 2, 3 right next door. Everywhere else have. So for me, that was a perfect opportunity to have 1, 2, 3, 4 indoor facilities. And just because of that, it was done. It's the same size and
4 feet.
It's about either 4 or 6 feet longer and 4 feet wider. That's all we needed.
You know, you just rile my gears.
So failure to plan.
Failure to plan.
But we had a discussion.
Failure.
So you had a discussion.
Failure to plan is failure to succeed.
So for me, that was the craziest. That was the craziest thing.
So okay, we hear the minister for Blowing Point. Minister for Blowing Point.
Road South.
Minister from Road South talking about a facility that's happening in Blowing Point, right? Why do we have to take that route? And I understand, I appreciate it, but I'm now piggybacking on what you're saying. Like, bro, we had the concrete. The blocks are manufactured here. You're trying to tell me that we couldn't look somewhere and see where we could have cut, change the style of the garment to make the dress a little better, if we're going to use that analogy, to secure 4 indoor facilities.
That was a perfect opportunity there, man. We got in there, got me upset again, all over again.
But I could understand the frustration because games are cancelled, the children are in the sun, there's no time for... You know what you could do? Practicing after hours, in the heat of the day.
And the purpose of the auditorium would not have been compromised.
No, because you pull back out. But all the facilities in the States, Chase Center, the Garden, wherever, there are shows and concerts, multi-purpose facilities.
When the auditorium, when the Rodney McCarter auditorium was built, it was built with a mindset that sports was going to be using it or whatever the case is, right? In fact, sports had contributed towards the flooring of it or whatever the case is. Now, if you look at the design of the auditorium, where the bathrooms are on the inside, for the life of me, I don't know why they did that. Because the bathroom should have been on the outside. Just imagine the bathrooms on the outside, how much more space you would have had. Yeah. Right? So, 4 or 5 years ago, the Leeward Island was supposed to have a basketball tournament in St. Martin. St. Martin pulled out last minute, so they had nowhere to go. Me, Lisa, Jason, and a few others, Colin, a few others, Tiny, Roxana. We decided, you know what, we can't host it. But then everybody was like, but we ain't gonna put it. You can't play it outdoors. We said, man, you can transform the campus be auditorium. We put the flooring from the volleyball, from the underground court, take it up, put it in the auditorium. Boom, had a few seating. Of course, it's still narrow on the sides. Yeah, bro, we had that tournament. That was probably one of the best Leeward Island tournaments it ever had. Because it was organized and everything. Just the only problem we had, we couldn't have too much people on the inside because we just didn't have the space.
So you can have the tournament, but you can't have the spectators.
Yeah, it's too tight. The court is here and the wall is like right here. It's tight. Yeah. So we had to put seatings like up on top. Seatings on one side and that kind of thing. So
I don't know if you've noticed, but everybody we've had on this show, we've been plugging for some commitments. So would you be satisfied if we, through this medium, and I say we collectively here, because you, I, and I, Rastaman, if we make a plug, would we be satisfied with one solid, state-of-the-art indoor facility? When I say, I love the one in Tatola.
The multipurpose complex.
I think that one is actually
And again, it is a multipurpose. They hold, I can tell you, there were times where they were holding House of Assembly in that building.
Yeah.
They host their carnival pageant shows in that building. They host their sporting events.
I tell you what, when we talk indoor, people think you gotta have fully this bunch of concrete and all this other things, right? I went to Boston. Boston have like a massive steel frame building. And in that building, they play baseball, as in the netting, like indoor, basketball, volleyball, everything.
So here's my thing. Stop right there, because I can say what I want and mean what I say and say what I want and mean.
I'll have some water on that.
So we have the expertise, we have the talent, we have the drive. All you need is the support, because you have the vision. I'm hearing the vision. We have all this vast land in Anguilla. Government have land. Nobody is saying, if the argument comes up, though, it needs to be here, it needs to be there, I would tell everybody, squash that right there. What happens is we need it. We need it, and we need parking. Because you can get anywhere in Anguilla in 15 minutes, unless you're driving behind some people, right? So can we identify a space? Can we identify a space? I'm putting the Minister for Sports, I'm putting the Minister for Infrastructure, I'm putting our Premier, I'm putting the team in finance.
Put everybody.
And notice right now that we are saying that we desire a space. Let's start with the land. Let government say, I firmly believe, build it and they'll come. Let government say, this land is earmarked. We ain't touching the failed project in the valley there, behind the valley school. Leave that alone. I don't want to hear nothing about it. I don't want to know nothing about why the blacks fall along. Leave that alone. I don't want that conversation at all. Don't touch it.
That alone,
Leave that alone. We want a space.
But no,
brand
I
new
want
space.
to know.
No. We want, stop right there. We want, let's start with a piece of land. We have X amount of architects around here. Which one of the architects around here would, I'm not saying to do it for free, but give us a base sketch, give us a base design, a rendering, and let's try to source the funds for it. Because, listen, in all honesty, you are right. It doesn't need to be a concrete building, a steel frame building that can serve multiple purposes.
I got drawings of almost 100 different ideas.
Yeah? So what we gonna do? No, this is how.
No, I'm serious.
Listen.
And a lot of time we speak about sports tourism. Or what are we doing to encourage sports tourism?
You know you're gonna get this one here started.
Okay, the volleyball team just left.
Why the tournament ain't hosted here?
Can't host it. This is a problem. So every time we gotta take part in a tournament,
We have to travel. So we don't spend money and we don't bring nothing.
We need to bring it. We need to do the reverse.
So why cricket don't happen here anymore? Why none of the T20 matches outside of the
now
Premier?
you're heading into dangerous territory.
I don't mind.
So-
I could dog paddle.
So the thing about cricket is, and I'm trying to look into that right now. We don't have a players' pavilion ever since Hurricane Irma. If you realize, the players' pavilion was demolished.
I understand.
You can't have teams here training if you don't have a players' pavilion. Leeward Island, there was a little discussion about franchise possibly moving to Anguilla or whatever, and the key requirement, players' pavilion. Players locker room, dressing rooms. If we don't have that, we can't do nothing.
Listen, but our problems are easily fixed.
Yeah.
But okay,
Here she goes.
Our problems are easily fixed. But again, in comes this term. We need financial resources. And we must be cognizant of the fact that if our dollars ain't dollaring, somebody else's dollars ain't dollaring either.
But there's a lot of funding and grants for sports.
And not only that too. We need everybody to put their hand up and say, I want to contribute. It don't have to be, I gotta put, it don't have to be.
You see, right? Once Ivan put my hand up, that means that he contributing for us.
It don't have to be, I gotta go and write a check of $100,000.
No.
If you have a construction company and you say, you know what, I'm committed to doing 40 feet of wall, I can send my men to do 40 feet of wall. If we have a company that's selling steel or blocks or whatever, you can contribute 2 pallets of blocks. And we can get our local people involved who passionate about seeing sports develop and get these facilities done, and it won't cost us anything.
But you said something here, and I ain't going into the GST debate, but as it's an involving tax, when people do those things in the States, they get tax write-offs. Maybe that's something for finance to consider with those contributions are concerned.
I find you open a whole bunch of
I tell you, going fishing.
I go fishing. You catch mahi, you catch people, whatever you catch.
We catch. But honestly, we gonna cook everything.
Very good.
Because we gotta start thinking outside of the box. You've been after school. I say it and everybody know this is my mantra. Relationship is the currency of business. I know you could pick up the phone and call anybody that you went to school with around the region that in sports, and you can get quality conversation, quality input, quality connection, whatever to get this done. Listen, you talk about you don't have a chiropractor or whatever the case is to work with. Dr. Jerry Smith, somebody that I've known from most of my college life. Now, I did everything with Dr. Smith, eh? Like, Dr. Smith is a man, he wouldn't change the paint on his walls unless he asked me. Like, okay, Ivan, what do you think about the colors? Yeah. But he travels with the BVI team. He wanted to open a facility here, He was like, but why not? We all in British overseas territories. Yes. So now I can put you on and say, listen, if you got at least traveling, let Dr. Smith talk to you.
And what we got right now is Dr. Knox is actually fitting in that position right now. He's been seeing the athletes for the past 3 months in my office because you need space. Tuesday, Thursdays, realignment, stretches, hamstring, whatever the athletes, because they're training vigorously leading up to these games.
Bro.
And he's doing
Which games are these?
Commonwealth games coming up. And he was doing that for Caribbean games. He was doing that for Carifta as well, right? And he's actually going to be traveling with the team this year. First time we're going to have our own access to.
Okay, that's perfect. But here's why it is though. It's relationship, which is the currency of business
that's
again.
That's why it is.
But let's extend those relationships to what I heard you saying before. I love that idea about, like, we don't have to ask every business for money. Time is equally important.
Yes.
Resource
in terms of material, labor is equally important.
You see the wall, whatever, on the park?
Yeah.
You see a couple of areas bust out, something hurricane and steel, this and that, whatever. That's something that I would like to get started out. But that's what I was talking about when I said about 50 feet of wall. One company might do 50 feet, another company might do 30 feet or whatever. Brick by brick, we can build our album.
Brick by brick, I love that. The Jamaicans that say every little make up muckle. Like every little bit, it's gonna get done. So let's go back to our facility before we do anything else, because we're going back to the facility because I'm a creative being. I understand the power of words. So we are saying to the powers that be, we want the land earmarked before the end of the year, right?
Be ambitious.
Yeah, we want the land earmarked before the end of the year. Our government have land. We don't care where it is. You have 100+ potential drawings. So from that, you can tell them, listen here, this is a way to start. Break it down to 25 that would fit for purpose, right? Then within the next 6 months, we get proper drawings drawn. I've seen people buy a brick campaigns, buy a block campaign, and there's so many people that come here for vacation and would support something like that.
I'm telling you, bro, like, I don't understand for life of me, like, our drive to get sport and stuff done, I don't think we do it enough. I think that we miss the bus on a lot of opportunities, but the bus won't come back home. I don't think the bus going straight. The bus got to come around a circle.
So while it's coming around, we don't stand in the way, though. We continue to walk where we need to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Of course. Because if you don't start, if somebody don't see you start, nobody gonna help you.
Yeah. If I see somebody by the same bus stop, you wait on somebody.
And if you go to somebody and say, I need $20 million to build a facility, the person might only have 2,000. But in his mind, he's saying, "Bye, you need 20 million, I give you 2,000. If the devil drop the bucket, they ain't gonna go to use for nothing." But if you hit it in stages and you say, "Okay, the first part we need it cleared, it can cost us 100,000. that person could say, "But if I give 5,000, that's good. A good little start there."
Yeah.
But if you go to somebody with a whole thing and say, "Okay, we're trying to build this facility. Like, we ain't got no start. We ain't know how we get nothing. We ain't clear off nothing." You need to start.
Yeah, I agree. Get the land, put on the foundation.
Okay, so this boss
Coming around.
come back wrong again.
Uh-huh.
Because I realize this is barbershop talk. But I'm gonna insult myself in here and pretend that I can go wax my eyebrows. Here I say wax because that's why I don't come. That's why I don't come to the
And I
barbershop.
appreciate you not coming to the barbershop.
That's a different talk. But we started a little bit and we're talking about the Commonwealth Games. Commonwealth Games are coming up when?
27th of July to the 8th of August.
And we have athletes going where?
We have 12 athletes.
12 athletes. Where are the Commonwealth Games being held?
Birmingham, in the UK.
Okay. And so we have 12 athletes that are heading to Birmingham. They're going to be accompanied, I heard you say, by a chiropractor for the first time, Dr. Knox. And who else will be accompanying them?
Chef de Mission, Cardigan Connell. Rollins Richardson is going to be there as well. Miss Deanne Kentish Raja, she's going to also be there. So we have a
solid
What's
team.
Chef de Mission?
Yeah, he's in charge of the team, getting the uniforms and all that, making sure that everything is in place before the team comes and stuff like that.
And that person is
Cardigan Connell.
Okay.
He's been doing that for the past. Yeah.
Okay.
He's been doing a really good job at it as well too. So.
Okay.
Good. So we have a good and solid team. That's
And what sports we're competing in?
We have 2 boxers.
Oh.
Colin Richardson and Jaffet. They actually boxed for the first time the last Commonwealth in Australia. For us, it was just glad we hope they survive, because leading up to that Commonwealth Games, we had no ring.
Yeah.
So these guys' first time actually fighting in a ring was at the Commonwealth Games. They went to Trinidad for their training, maybe about 3-4 weeks, and then they went to fight. And when you hear the names calling for who they are fighting and how much fights they already fought, it's like 150 fights. And then you look at our guy, he never had a fight. You know? So it was just about survival.
But they did.
Survived the first round. He was like, wow, he survived the first round. Then you look, his second round, he's still there. You're thinking, hey, shit, we can win this thing. and the showing that he had, everybody was talking about it. Like, it was great.
So you know what was actually cool? The boxing thing that Shez did a couple of years ago.
That was really cool.
That was really cool. It introduced the sport on another level. I know James. What's James' last name?
Carter.
James Carter.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he's big on it. And let me put a plug here, because James needs a space as well. Government, we have some building space there. Let's see what we can do there.
Yeah, we have a ring in the Tomac.
Yeah.
But it's not ideally what we need, because we don't have like a bathroom facility, but that's the only space that was available at the time, and that was the most economical, because our department, we pay the monthly rental for that spot.
Okay.
But there's no other spot that we could have found within our range of budget that we could have.
You know, it had a famous politician, former chief minister, and I think I can call his name. Mr. Osborne Fleming. I was told this weekend, just conversation with people that Mr. Fleming used to just drive around and see what's going on. We need to drive around and see what's going on, see what space is available, because everybody think that everything just need to be concentrated in one area, and that doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. So even with that same indoor facility that we're looking to do,
drive around.
We could put everything in there, bro. Everything, one-stop drop. You can have concerts. We had a drawing for the redevelopment of the Rana Webster Park. I don't know if you saw it.
No, send it to me. I like to get things
but
you jump on the bus and the bus coming around, and that's where I was going. So let's go. We here. So let's go with that one, and then we can come back there.
So we had a drawing about redeveloping the Rana Webster Park. For us, that park is everything. That's how we know. That's how my parents know. That's how your parents. That's how we know. But the idea behind of it was that we're going to make it like an attraction type thing where it's not just about sports. It's about, we can have businesses, have the shops set up, and there you can have like sports shops that open throughout the day. And instead of having the food stalls just line up by the side of the road in front of the clinic, you'll build proper stalls that everything look uniform, and they themselves will pay like a rental fee for the space, so then everything clean, everything look uniform. We have seating where you can reach out to different hotels. They can have they can pay an annual fee for a VIP slot that if we have any functions, their staff or whoever can go and watch the games. And then that whole center could have been transformed into a cultural center. You could have your queen show, your pageants. I know you got seating all around. So that
I ain't cutting you off. Like I tell you, so it's a strange thing I can't explain, but people who know me know me. Mm-hmm. When you speak, I see things, Zach. Mm-hmm. Why we don't just push down the rest of the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School whole site, right? This is so we know what's going on with the track talk and the cricket field. Right? Hold on. Come here right here. Let me
right
put it here. Let's
go ahead.
This is people can't see our table. But that's a vast, excellent piece of space right there.
Singing to the choir.
Singing to the choir. We done got FIFA and football doing what they have to do on the side there. We can fix cricket right there. I think we can have an indoor facility big enough in that space that can house a track as well. Why we ain't doing this?
The space is enough.
So what does it take for us to push down the buildings?
But recognize and see.
No, we're going back to pushing down the buildings.
But before we can push down the buildings, we have to, because
bulldozer,
a bulldozer. What else?
I now understand what it's like when we have another woman in the room, because today I am completely overpowered. But I do know that there's still some buildings at the Albina Lake Hodge Comprehensive School site that are still being utilized for the technical and vocational aspects, because that phase of the new project have not commenced as yet. So we are still a little ways off before we can get there. But I can see Ivan's wheels turning and not listening to anything I say. But we're gonna have to have these conversations.
Push it up.
And in our more, I don't want to say no more, but in our
the library is there. The library is there next door. Upstairs, the library you could transform to a sports museum. You have the health center right across the road.
So if anything happens, you're right there.
You're right there. The hospital right in the back. Perfect location.
Good.
Bulldozer.
So this song like we are gonna have part 2 with the minister, because the minister is gonna tell us how she's balancing the educational needs versus the sports needs, and we're gonna come with a complete plan. But I like where we're going and the enthusiasm, because I think that is what we are saying that has been needed. And so I love the enthusiasm that we're seeing and having persons be passionate. And I think that is one of the things that you bring to the job, Delano. Your knowledge and your passion for sports, and to see Anguilla develop sports in a very meaningful way. We spoke, and I know Ivan kind of rush through it a little bit. But where are we with the discussion on the use of the James and Webster Park for that track and field facility as opposed to cricket grounds? I know that there was a pin stuck in that conversation that should have continued and happened. Is that something that you can talk about? Is that something you can tell us about? Is that something you prefer to leave
there was the
table for now?
Everybody know about the back and forth discussions where cricket felt like they don't want to move. We felt like some people felt like this was the only opportunity we have to get funding for a track, and to be honest, I was basically in the middle of it, because
I need to be chipping now.
You know my passion for cricket, but I also have a passion for development. So it was kind of tough for me to even chime in on most of the conversations. But I was of the firm belief that if we're getting funding for a track, we need to create that environment for a track, as opposed to having to try to move cricket to find a new location for cricket. Because then I just thought that it would have cost the government more money that way than if we had just got the money for the track and build a track. But the stipulations that the minister was faced with in terms of saying that it was supposed to be on a pre-existing space, that she was faced with that. So she was just trying to say, okay, we really need a track. As opposed to thinking, we just want to move cricket. It was never about just trying to move cricket. It was just about trying to seize an opportunity.
I'm not being facetious. I'm not being anti-cricket. I understand the history of the grounds. But my thing is, I don't think we have explored what it is for cricket. Anguilla don't rain, The matches ain't gonna rain out. Angola has all these hotel spaces and everything. Why don't we develop a proper cricket grounds where we can host international matches here?
Lights and everything.
Lights and everything. And we have the land space, everything pretty much close to being flat. Let's stop looking at putting everything in the valley other than our sports center because we're going to push down the high school. Let's like why can't we, and I know the cricket powers don't come after me. You guys can come, let's have a conversation. But don't you want a world-class facility? You know, I want to see new bleachers. I want to see the Landville Harrigan stand. I want to see the Ron Rogers corner. I want to see the Omari Banks bleachers. I want to see the Jamal Hamilton. His place there too. Whatever is on the grounds. You know, I wanna hear the commentators talking. I want to hear the commentators talking, and it's down long leg and right over by the Shaka Hodge.
I'll send you that drawing.
And I can put it out there.
I know when I send you that drawing,
I can put it out there. I tell you, I can put it out there.
I ain't come back to the progress report because I know if I send you that drawing, don't call me back here because I think I'll be
Send me that drawing today. Send me that drawing today. I'm not even putting it on government's page where nobody could go on and get it. I want to put it out there so people need to start to see what's possible. And I think that's what we're struggling with as an island, as a country, as a community. Not everybody sees what's possible. And there's this growing divide we have to meet in the gap because the young people, you notice the conversation around development is staunchly different.
Yeah.
You have a set that say, don't change Anguilla. You have a set that say, but you don't go nowhere. Anguilla need to change. And they're pulling in different directions. But somebody needs to start to walk about face. Let's have that conversation. This is what progress support is about, believe it or not. We don't envision us having a program where we just go in and attacking this, attacking that. Let's have the conversations and put it out there.
But that's why you need to have conversations.
We need to have the conversation because you are telling me. No, I had no idea that this drawing was done, you know. You are telling me that we have a drawing already, but we are a step ahead. We have at least vision and a thought, and most people don't have that.
Yeah, it was a situation where the whole entrance was changed to the roadside now. So when you come around the roundabout, you got a grand entrance right there instead of coming to the football. Listen, if you see the drawing, it's a real good
drawing.
Send
me the drawing today. You're not going to ring off your phone if you don't send it.
That's when I leave from here.
And I'm going to put that out there and say, all I'm going to post on my wall and say thoughts. And I hope I don't get in trouble and be fired this afternoon. But if so be, and the conversation, because we need the conversation to happen, bro. Like on a serious note, again, we're going to go back to it. The future is at stake. We have children that aren't progressing academically because they don't have that sports component. Because sports opens up so much, if we're being honest.
Yeah, and if to be honest, we'll be doing a lot of kids a disservice because some kids, all they have to brag about is their athletic ability.
Yeah.
So if we don't harness that, we don't take care of that, then they feel like their existence is not, you know what I mean?
Bro, before we talk something again, why don't you just do this to me?
I'm looking at the time, and I want you to
give me 1 minute more.
Cognizant of the time.
I will be cognizant of the time.
Because there's something I want to get to.
Okay, I can just take 1 more minute. You know I just shut my mouth when it's time to shut my mouth. I can take 1 more minute and I can ask you a question. Because as far back as I can go, I can call some names right now. And you immediately could tell me what they were good at. Grayson.
Everything. Football, basketball.
But he had a
football talent.
Yep. Marquis.
Could have run, could have ride bike, and he was very good at football as well.
Chris Pradell.
Cyclist.
Omari Banks.
Cricket.
And I touched this story before. People, when Omar was playing cricket in school, primary school, Omar was the pace bowler that when you see them long legs take off from the opposite side, your heart beating, you know.
And then made it to the West Indies.
As a spin. Okay, as a spin bowler.
Right, yes,
so I wanted to touch that part.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch that part because this is where I'm going with this. Let me call another name. Astor Niles.
Football again. Master footballer.
Mastermind. An excellent player. These guys had the acumen before I knew what acumen was. You understand?
I'll tell you what. The opportunities that's in football right now.
If they had
those
that
names that he called just now, we'd have been have to pay to get them to come back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, so
we'd
they
be
were
looking at
that
those
good.
guys on ESPN easily.
So you're saying that we don't want to be in a position 20 years from now, looking back and saying the same thing about.
Exactly, because there was this Connor guy from Stoner Ground School that played in the tournament, I think when Stoner Ground won 2 years ago, the NCBA primary school football tournament. I watched this young man play, right? And I went over to him after that.
That fishing him.
Their view. I hold him, I said, listen here, all I want you to do is check your energy and emotions on the field. You gone clear. I hold him up. The boy is that far advanced.
Been playing from since he kneeling of a grasshopper.
But no, you could see it. Like he commands the entire field. He reads the game extremely well. And I just don't watch sports to say who gonna score. I watch how he places himself. I watch the makeup of the game, and I'm telling you, if this guy is given an opportunity. He's going to do what Grayson didn't do, what Astor didn't do, because they weren't given the opportunity. So how much longer are we going to hold our kids back on the account of them not having an opportunity? At some point, we got to stop mortgaging the future just because we want to hold on to the past. At some point, we have to stop.
And I say what? I'll say the next thing too. Like, even with our national team right now, football team, those guys are making strides. We might not have won as much as people want us to win, but I don't look at end scores. I look at ball possessions. I look at how much time, different little things.
Yes.
And the team itself is a lot fitter than it's ever been, and it shows. And for us to really compete against bigger islands, because team sports, believe it or not, don't care what nobody says, strength in numbers, and when you have people who play in Angola, they just stay here and just play with a team and just stay here, you can only get that good. You can only get that much better. So we gotta start paying attention to kids who 12, 13, 14, and try to get them after high schools in the US and different places. And then when you want to have a national team, you bring a team together, because if you got 3 good players and the others ain't up to that level, the team's gonna break down.
If I can get the last 4 minutes. But you touched on something. You touched on giving them the opportunity. Everybody knows Jamal Willock right now is playing for one of the top schools in Spain, and being quoted by a school above them. To come over, they're talking the possibility, and I hope I can say this, Jerome. They're talking the possibility of full ride scholarship and stuff. But his dad took the chance to give him an opportunity.
I was about to say though, with opportunity sometimes comes sacrifice.
Again, that's what it is.
And we have to be willing to give that sacrifice for our children to have those opportunities.
Now, what does that sacrifice look like?
Michelle did the same thing for Mikhail.
Sometimes it requires moving.
You gotta get out, because
I'm gonna tell you, if you look at my son, I have goosebumps, and I'll tell you why.
Like you literally have goosebumps.
No, I'll tell you why, because and not to take away from anyone else, because I know that there are some Anguillians out there who are into gymnastics, but they've had to move. And my niece, she has that raw talent, that raw acrobatic talent. But how do you say, I need to uproot my family? And I know that as something that has been weighing on, because you are asking persons, and sometimes that sacrifice is sometimes too great.
Yeah.
And I think when we speak about opportunities, we also have to remember the sacrifice that we are making.
You gotta make that sacrifice. And some parents, because of they might be the only child, whatever situation is, don't want to let go. But if you stay here until you're 18, 19, that same bus that you say coming around, that is the bus that has to keep going straight.
Yep.
And we missed the bus. So that's why a lot of the time we started, if we don't get players out and just bring them, because St. Kitts do it, Antigua do it. When you go and play against these teams, them people ain't living in St. Kitts and Antigua. They're in universities all over the place. They come home, find the team, and that's why they're so good. In Anguilla, if we want to compete with any of those islands, we have to be sports that have a smaller team makeup. Beach volleyball, maybe 3-on-3 football, because it's easier to find 3 good players and to find a full team of good players.
I can say this, and this is the last thing I'm going to ask. What's the department's position on having a Scouts Expo? Let's call it that. that you can pay tickets, partner with a hotel for 3 scouts to come here and watch our football league, or watch the kids basketball league, because they want to grab the talent all in. Can we look at something like that?
Yes, that's a given. That's what you have to do.
Okay.
Have to do it.
I don't know.
The basketball camp that we just have here, which we having again this year, you can make that plug to the Joe Faroba camp. He's been coming here for like 10 years. He works with his own coaches. They pay their own way down, have a camp here for a week. And those coaches come down with the intention of looking for that next Cardin. I would say the next Cardin, because when Cardin was 12 years old, they came down, they looked at him, without him dribbling a basketball. They just tell him to stand up and just do this. Wingspan at an 11-year-old, the guy said, I want him back. And they had all kind of conversation with parents trying to get him to go like high school and leave here, and it didn't happen. Yeah. Because of he's young. I don't want to, you know what I mean. Which you can understand as well too.
Anybody want Ethan?
Come free. Right.
No,
but he be on the house and home anyhow.
Right. So they come down and they coming again, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to encourage. Okay, if you come down, we want to bring some guys up for the summer program that you guys just have up there too. So we get a couple of our players to go up for like when they're having their program, and we go from there. Okay. But we need to have scouts, because the quicker we get these people out here, the better for us.
Mr. Mussington, before Gleneva gives any closing statements, because I have to hush us, we can go out for another half an hour. It's been a pleasure, and we have to have you back. Hopefully by the time we are back, we have started enough conversation about what's really possible at that site. Yeah. I'm also thinking about a tech park, but that's a different story. We'll have somebody else to talk about that. We have those conversations. Anybody with a bulldozer, I don't have to know how to use it. I can borrow it. I don't think if I do it under the cover of dark, I might get arrested. Let's just push it down. Let's just push it down.
See the things Ivan has put out there.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, I had nothing to do with this bulldozer story.
Temporary deafness.
Temporary deafness. But I'm saying, I said all that to say, and I have a strange way sometimes of getting the point across. I'm saying sometimes that it's gonna take a little more effort to push things out of the way, so we can actually clear a path to where we want to be. And that's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Ivan, you took my 4 minutes, so I'm not going to say what I have to say, except to say that when Delano comes back, and you are going to come back, we are going to continue the conversation. I want us to then start to speak a little bit about sports, not just as a career, and not just and what it can do. And for our health, and we spoke about a lot of that today. But I also want to speak about how sports can bring us together.
That's
and this is thing. And this is gonna follow on, because I know we want to have the Commissioner of Police on sometime soon, and we can look at how sports can bridge that divide that exists within a lot of our young persons.
That's the biggest tool to use right now.
And the now Parliamentary Secretary, Mr. Merrick Richardson, he did touch on that too. So you're right.
So
we have to
so we're gonna continue these conversations. It is never enough time. We look at the clock and we go, we are well out of time, but there's never enough time to have these conversations.
I was saying that had a long time.
A
long time.
We didn't even touch everything.
Long time, and he started talking. I look at the time and I'm like, wow, we've been here 62 minutes.
Imagine that. So, on that note,
this has been another excellent episode of Progress Report.
Yes.
It has been a great conversation, even though the fellas have dominated, even though they brought a little bit of barbershop talk into Progress Report. I have enjoyed this conversation. I hope you have too. Thank you for joining us, and we will be back next time.
I can still see the bulldozer. Thank you for listening. Progress Report.